In 1984, a radio technician in Alaska discovered a signal broadcasting instructions from coordinates in the Bering Sea where nothing exists. 5 weeks later, he was suspended. Days later, he disappeared. The file on Ray Calhoun is thin. There is an employment record from Radio Sentinel in Nome, Alaska, dated October 3, 1983. There is a suspension notice dated February 9, 1984. There is no resignation. There is no termination. There is no record of what happened between the suspension and the moment his sister opened a safety deposit box in Fairbanks in 2009 and found a written account addressed to no one. She passed it to a researcher. The researcher passed it to us. Calhoun worked the overnight shift alone, monitoring transmission quality for a station covering a region most people could not find on a map. He described his first month as uneventful, the kind of empty that makes you notice things you would otherwise ignore. The first anomaly appeared on a Tuesday in November at 02:14 in the morning. Frequency 104.7 registered on the signal panel without a source, no origin point, no transmitter ID. Just a signal arriving from somewhere the equipment could not locate. It lasted 11 minutes and disappeared. Calhoun logged it as interference, finished his shift, and drove home in the dark. It came back 3 times the following week, always between 2 and 3 in the morning, always from nowhere. On the 4th appearance, he recorded it. It sounded like static. He left it on his desk for 3 days. On the 4th day, he ran it through the station's filter equipment, and what came through was not static. It was structured. Regular intervals between each pulse, a pattern repeating every 40 seconds with a consistency no natural interference source could produce. Whatever was transmitting on 104.7 was doing it deliberately. He wrote that he sat there for a long time without moving. He did not write what he was thinking. In the margin of that page, in handwriting slightly different from the rest, tighter, smaller, written at a different time, there are 2 words: "It knew." It took Calhoun 2 nights to transcribe the first segment. He described the voice as flat and effectless. The content did not register as significant while he was writing it down. It was only when he read it back in silence that he understood what he had transcribed. The phrases were unremarkable individually. In sequence, repeated on a loop, they formed instructions, specific and behavioral, the kind of language that does not ask you to do something, but assumes you already will. Calhoun chose not to reproduce them in his account. He wrote only, "I don't know what repeating them does. I'm not willing to find out." He used the station's directional equipment to locate the signal's origin. The equipment returned coordinates in the Bering Sea, 112 miles northwest of Nome. There is nothing at those coordinates. No platform, no vessel, no registered installation of any kind. He checked the charts 3 times over 3 consecutive nights. The result did not change. In January, he reported it to Howard Vass, the station director. He brought the recordings, the transcription, and the coordinates on a single sheet of paper, which he placed on Vass's desk without saying anything first. Vass listened to everything without interrupting, then told Calhoun it was Soviet interference, a known issue in the region, and that he should log it and move on. Calhoun watched him while he said it. Vass did not look like a man hearing something for the first time. He looked like a man confirming something he already knew. There was a stillness to him during that conversation. Calhoun noted it in his account without elaborating. He wrote only that it was the kind of stillness that is not calm. Calhoun said nothing. He went back to work. He kept recording. In the first week of February, he went into the station archive looking for calibration records from the previous decade. The archive was a single room at the back of the building, shelved floor to ceiling, poorly lit. In the 3rd hour, he found a folder with no label, filed between 2 calibration logs from 1974. Inside was a memorandum dated March 1971, 12 years before Calhoun was hired. He stood there and read it twice, then put it down and stood there for several minutes before reading it again. The memorandum referenced something called Protocol 104. It referenced active monitoring of frequency 104.7. It was signed by an office Calhoun did not recognize with a Washington address he could not verify. He was about to put it back when he noticed a single line along the bottom edge, same typeface as the rest. Monitoring to continue until source confirms receipt. He made copies that night, hid the originals with the tapes in a grass bag in the crawl space of his apartment 3 blocks from the station, and went back to his shift. He did not tell anyone what he had found. He wrote that he had stopped trusting the building. On February 9th, Vass called Calhoun into his office and told him that his unauthorized recordings had been flagged as a violation of the station's technical protocol. He said it in the tone of a man reading from a prepared statement. Calhoun asked who had reported it. He had told no one. Vass said the details were an internal matter. Calhoun understood that someone inside that station had been watching him for weeks without his knowledge. He was suspended pending review. He left the office and returned to the equipment room and spent 2 hours writing down everything he could remember: the transmissions, the coordinates, the memorandum, the pattern, the exact phrasing of the instructions he had transcribed and refused to repeat. Then he hid the notes with everything else and left the building without speaking to anyone. He did not go back to collect his belongings. His last diary entry is dated February 14, 1984. It ends mid-sentence, in the middle of a word. Whether he was interrupted or simply stopped has never been established. The diary was found in his apartment. It had not been taken. 2 things remain. The first is the memorandum. If Protocol 104 was active in 1971, the signal had been transmitting for at least 12 years before Calhoun noticed it. 12 years of structured, deliberate transmission on a frequency no one was monitoring, from coordinates that correspond to nothing on any chart, containing instructions that Calhoun transcribed and refused to repeat. The question is not how long it had been running, the question is what it was for. And underneath that, the question Calhoun never wrote down directly is who it was for. The line at the bottom of the memorandum suggests the signal was not broadcasting blindly. It was waiting for confirmation. The second thing is what Calhoun found on the last tape, in the 11 seconds of silence after the final transmission, before the recording ends. It was not static. It was not interference. It was not part of the pattern. It was a voice. One voice, speaking once, not repeating. 4 words. We know you're listening. The bag in the crawl space was gone when investigators looked in 1986. The tapes were gone. The copies were gone. The originals were gone. The crawl space had been accessed. Nothing else in the apartment had been touched. Frequency 104.7 was decommissioned by Radio Sentinel in March of 1984. The entry in the station records is 4 words: no further action required. We have been unable to locate Protocol 104 in any declassified archive. The Washington office that signed the 1971 memorandum does not appear in any government directory from that period. Howard Vass retired from Radio Sentinel in April of 1984. He died in Juneau in 1991. His personal records were not preserved. Ray Calhoun's sister described him, in a brief correspondence with the researcher who contacted her, as a man who spent the last 20 years of his life being careful. She said he never owned a radio.